Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as assistant professor in Chevrolet Engineering College, and now we are dealing the subject. I'm dealing the subject polytronic controllers and drives, and today's topic is Class B chopper. So before we are going to the Class B chopper, we are related to some assumptions in the Class A chopper. So according to the Class A chopper, we have some important conclusions like first one, if you observe the waveforms, the source current is not continuous, but it will be flowing in pulses only. The source current will be flowing in pulses. So the pulsed current, it makes the peak input power demand high. So these high demand, this causes fluctuations in the source voltage. Okay, and the source current waveform, it is dissolved into two types, DC and AC harmonics. So when coming to the fundamental AC harmonics, the frequency is same as the chopper frequency only. But these are AC harmonics which they are coming, these are considerably undesirable because they interference with other loads which are connected to the DC source, and they cause the radio frequency interfaces through conduction and electromagnetic induction. So LC filter, it is usually provided for AC harmonics to eliminate the AC harmonics. Okay, so this LC filter will be keeping this filter keeps the harmonics content in the source of in the source current. It keeps the content in the source current due to chopper within the limits only. It will be allowing the harmonics. So suppose we are telling the chopper can be implemented with higher frequencies. So at higher frequencies in the chopper, harmonics are reduced to a permissible value, to a tolerable value by cheaper filters only. These filters are very cheap to use. Okay, so if you increase the frequency of the chopper, we will get the filter at cheap prices. Okay, so that's why this is the reason why we operate the chopper in higher frequencies. Okay, next, last assumption is the load terminal voltage, it is not perfect direct voltage. In addition to direct component, it has harmonics of chopping frequency, and it is having harmonics with it multiples also. Multiples of harmonics means, suppose if you take odd or even harmonics, if you take even harmonics 2, 4, 6, 8, these are called as multiples of even harmonics. If you take as odd harmonics 1, 3, 5, 7, these are called as odd harmonics. So the load terminal voltage, it is not a perfect direct voltage because it is having harmonics in the chopping frequency and the multiples of harmonics in the chopping frequencies. And the load current also has a AC ripple. This AC ripple has many adverse effects on the performance of the motor also. Now, these are the assumptions of the Class A chopper. Now we will go for Class B. So before going, once the names of different Class A choppers are Class A chopper, next one step up chopper, or step down chopper, or DC to DC buck converter. Okay, what are the other names of Class A chopper? Step down transformer, step down chopper, because the current IA2 will be reduced to IA1. And last one is DC to DC buck converter. Okay, so this is all about Class A chopper. Next, now Class B chopper. This is the Class B chopper. You are seeing the basic chopper circuit, Class B chopper, and these are the waveforms, principle of operation of waveforms of Class B chopper. This chopper is also called as, so Class A is called as step down. So obviously Class B is called as step up chopper. Okay, or it can be also called as boost type DC to DC converter. See here, we are showing the circuit diagram on waveforms. So if you observe the control signals, if you observe the control signals, see here, this is the control signals waveform IC. This is the load voltage and this is the source current. So if you observe this control signals IC, the presence of this control signal indicates that it is the duration for which S can be conduct if it is forward biased. Okay, so at that time, if the control signals are present, S will be conducting, switch S will be conducting. When the S will be conducting, though the control signals are applied, S will not be conducted. But S will be conducted with applied signals and forward biased diode. Okay, so during a chopper period T here, during the chopper period T here, it will be remaining closed for an interval delta T to T. Okay, so the IC will be 0 for delta T to T. Delta T to T, it is 0. Okay, so if the IC is 0 here, the switch is closed at 0 to delta T. Okay, so it remains closed for an interval 0 to delta T. And it will be remains open for an interval delta T to T. It will be opened from delta T to T. Okay, so during this period, see the IS will be increasing from, source voltage will be increasing from IS1 to IS2. This is IS1 value, this is IS2 value. So the source voltage at the starting from 0 to delta T, it is increasing from IS1 to IS2. Okay, so if IS1 is increased to IS2, the source current is increased, what happens? This increases the magnetic energy stored in the inductance. Okay, as the source current increases, the magnetic inductance will also be increased, which is stored in the inductance. So when the switch is open from delta T to T, what happens? The current flows through the parallel combination of the load, and C. Okay, when the switch is open from delta T to T, the current will be flowing through the parallel combination of load and C. Okay, so as we observe that the current is forced against a higher voltage, right? So as it is forced against a higher voltage, the rate of change of current will be equal to negative. Here the rate of change of current will be taken as negative. So it decreases as the current is negative. What happens? It decreases the current from IS2 to IS1. So IS2 to IS1, the current will be decreased and the switch is off. That means this is the off period of the switch. So now we are taking a inductance. The energy will be stored in the inductance and the energy supplied by the low voltage source are given to the load. And the capacitance serve here, we have put one capacitance here. This is the capacitance which is kept parallel to the load. So there are two purposes. Mainly it serves two purposes, two functions it has. So if you instantly open the switch S, all of the sudden if you open the S, what happens? The source current IS. See here, if you instantly open the switch, what happens? The source current IS, here, this is IS, and the armature load current, the load current IA will not be same. These two values will not be same. Okay, if C is absent here, suppose if you do not take C here, if you turn off the switch S, it will force to two currents which have same values. Okay, if you turn off the switch, what happens? It forces two currents. So these have same the values. So this will cause high induced voltages in load and the load inductance also. The two voltages which are launched, which are existing due to the turn off of switch, they causes high voltage and high voltage in L and the load inductance also. Next, this is the first reason. Second reason is if the voltage ripple, the load voltage ripple will be reduced with the applying of C. So the purpose of this diode, it is to prevent this, the purpose of the diode, the function of the diode is to prevent any flow of current from the load into switch S or into source voltage V. What is the use of this diode? If it is reverse biased, so no current will be flown against the switch and the source voltage. So for understanding our step-up action, C is assumed large enough to maintain a constant voltage VA. Okay, for the understanding of the step-up action, step-up, we are talking as this class B chopper as step-up chopper. So for analyzing this step-up chopper, we are assuming the C has large enough to maintain constant voltage VA, which is across the load. So now the average values of average voltage values across the terminals A and B are given by C in the next problems. These are the waveforms. This is the average voltage. This is the average voltage across the terminal A and B. So VAB is equal to 1 by T delta T to VAB dt. So if you integrate this, we will get VA 1 minus delta. That is 42nd equation. After that, we can write from here average voltage inductance or so see here average, what is the average voltage inductance? VL is equal to 1 by T 0 to T D L into di by dt. Okay, from that I can write 1 by T IS1, 0 means IS1 and T is IS not IS1 like this here. L into di is equal to 0. So now from this source voltage is equal to V is equal to sum of both the voltages. Okay, so V is equal to VL plus VAB. This is second equation, third equation and fourth equation, this one. So substituting from equations 2 and 3 into equation 4. So I am writing the values here. So V is equal to VA 1 minus gamma plus VB I into LS1 minus, sorry, L into IS1 minus IS2. So if you substitute the equation 2 and 3, 4.2 and 3 in 4, you will get the equation V is equal to VA 1 minus delta. So that forms a formula for VA. VA is equal to V by 1 minus delta. Next, we will see the motoring operation of separately excited motor. So if you take this equation, it can be, see here before one thing. If you take this equation 5, the output voltage, here what we are seeing this is the output voltage, nothing but VA. The output voltage VA, it can be changed from V to delta, V to infinity. Okay, so this VA can be changed from V to infinity, controlling the delta duty ratio from 0 to 1. Okay, so in practically we can say that VA can be controlled from VA. Sorry, VA can be controlled from V to a higher voltages. Okay, so for controlling the V by VA, these need help from C. Okay, so when you need a help from C, what happens? The parameters of the lower and higher choppers. That means the parameters of the load and chopper will be depending upon the C. So the main advantage of this step-up chopper is it is having only low ripples in the current or load. Mainly it is having low ripples in the source voltage. So all the choppers we are having are step up, step down. In many applications, we use step down choppers only. But step up choppers also, they find applications in low power battery driven vehicles such as golf carts, trolleys, and so on. Okay, so if you observe that here the motor of high voltage, the motor of the high voltage ranging from some 100 bhp like that, so which are having high voltage, voltage ranges means suppose some 400 volts, 600 volts, 800 volts, like that. So these motors having high voltage ranges, these are controlled from the low voltage battery through a step up chopper only. Okay, so this principle of step up chopper is also used in regenerative braking of DC motors. And this is all about the step up chopper. Next one, we will see the motoring operation of separately excited motor. So in this, we are going to discuss about the steady state analysis and the performance of a DC separately excited motor, which is fed by one quadrant step down. That means class A chopper. Okay, so this motor is fed by class A chopper. This is also called as one quadrant or step down chopper. If you see here, the basic drive circuit is shown in figure. An LC filter is connected between the source and the chopper in order to reduce the fluctuations in the sources, currents and voltages. So we are taking one LC filter only for safety. So this will be connected between the source and the chopper. So this reduces the fluctuations in the source current and both source current and voltage. So if the filter inductor, suppose the L of the filter is assumed losslessly and the capacitor C1, it will be sufficiently large. The capacitance will be sufficiently large. So then the chopper input will be equal to the source voltage, that's all. Okay, so this we see the equivalent circuit. This is the chopper drive and this is the equivalent circuit. If you see the equivalent circuit, these equivalent circuits of motor for regulativity and freewheeling intervals are shown in figure also. This one. This is duty, this is freewheeling interval. Right? So the idealized steady state, output voltage and armature current waveforms, these I have shown you in the figure. These are the armature currents and output voltages. So only during the continuation flow, we are discussing that. We are omitting the discontinuous conduction mode. Suppose if we are having, say here, if you are having two types of intervals, first one is duty interval and second one is freewheeling interval. So during the duty interval, out of the total energy supplied by the source, only small part is absorbed by the armature and converter. And by observing this, they convert into mechanical energy. Apart from this, there is some absorptions in the form of heat in the resistance RA and the switch. Okay, so if you see here, during the duty interval, we are saying that out of the total energy supplied by the source, a part of it is only absorbed by the armature and converted into mechanical energy. A part, second part, this is the first part of the total supplied energy, and second part is converted into heat in resistance RA and the switch, and all of the remaining energy is stored in the inductance. Here is stored in the inductance LA. So this is the stored magnetic energy in the inductor, which is responsible for making the flow of armature current during the freewheeling interval. Because at the freewheeling interval, we are not giving any control signals, but the current maintains a constant value. So constant continuous signals will be emitting from the current. So what makes the stored energy which is stored in the inductance, it will make the flow of armature current possible in the freewheeling interval. So both the mechanical energy and heat losses must be supplied from this stored mechanical energy only, and no energy is supplied by the source. Okay, so when the armature circuit inductance is low and maximum current is small, suppose if small means at low motor torque, so at the time, the stored magnetic energy may not be enough to maintain the flow of energy, flow of current during the half period S. So particularly when we take, when either a back EMF is large or when the duration of the off period is long, it is the particular case. The before discussed is the particular case. So in this case, the armature current may become zero during the flow, during the freewheel interval, as shown in this figure B. So this 4.4b gives the discontinuous mode. So in present day, semiconductor devices, choppers, these operate at frequency which are sufficiently high to eliminate the discontinuous conduction modes. So during the motor's normal steady state, mainly this discontinuous conduction modes will be occurring. So at present day, we are using some semiconductor devices to eliminate this discontinuous conduction modes. Okay, so now discontinuous conduction modes, why we are eliminating means this discontinuous conduction modes takes place only under the transient operation. Okay, so normally at the steady state operations, this will be discontinued. The discontinuous conduction mode will be eliminated, but this takes place only at transient operations. So in this view, what I have said this, the steady state analysis will be considered only for continuous conduction only. So leave it about discontinuous conduction. Forget about discontinuous conduction. You are dealing with only continuous conduction. So in the case of current limit control, the chopper operates between the it will be operating between the current limits only. So if you give some current prescribed current limits to the chopper, the current, if you apply a current limit control, if you apply a current limit control, it will be operating in that limits only. So If continuous, always the continuous conduction mode occurs, where is the chance for occurring discontinuous conduction mode? So by this way, discontinuous conduction mode will not be occur. Okay, so from this we can summarize that analysis of the drive will be presented, particularly the analysis of the drive will be presented both for time ratio control TRC and current limit control TSC. So in addition to our assumptions, what I have said before, in addition to the assumptions 2 and 3, what is 2 duty about the duty wheel, duty cycle, and 3 freewheeling cycle. So according to the assumptions in 2 and 3 described in section before, the following assumptions are also made here. First one is switch S and diode DF are ideal. First assumption what we have to take is switch S and diode DF are ideal. Okay, ideal means what happens? They have zero drop when conducting, and also while conducting it should have zero leakage current. So what is the first assumption we have to take? The diode DF is ideal. We have to take ideal means no current, no current. Current will be increasing to current will be decreasing to the initial value, and zero leakage current when not conducting. Second one, the turn off of the switch does not have any effect to the motor terminal, and both the motor terminal and voltage, that this turn off of the switch does not have any effect. If you turn off or on the switch, it does not have any effect on the motor terminal voltage. Okay, and the discontinuous conduction is also ignored here. We are not having any discontinuous conduction mode. And the chopper terminal voltage, if you see that, it is constant and it is equal to V. The formulas I have explained before. So next one. This is the steady state analysis for time ratio control. TRC. We have to analyze in steady state for both TRC and CLC. Okay. First, we are analyzing TRC. So if you analyze the steady state, you will get speed torque curves and armature current ripple also. So this is the motor performance equations for duty and freewheeling cycles. Okay, suppose if you take first, if you consider the duty interval, it is 0 to t less than delta t. So from the interval, it is for this interval, it is called as duty interval. So from figure 4.3b, just I will show you figure. This one. B figure. This is A figure, this is B figure. So if you consider the B figure, from this we can write RA IA plus LA into DI by DT plus E is equal to V. Total source voltage is equal to sum of the voltage drops, right? So at initial, if you take it 0 time, IA of 0 becomes IA1. So at the starting, the current, load current is IA1. So solution for the equation 4.6 with this initial condition. This is called as initial condition. So how will you get the solution? Source of equation with the initial condition is V minus E. From this, IA is equal to divided by RA. So IA is equal to LA divided by dt plus E divided by RA. So for this, if you take common V minus E by RA common, you are left with 1 minus e power minus t by tau a plus IA1 e power minus t by tau a, where tau is called the armature circuit time constant, LA by RA. So if the current at the end of the duty interval is IA2, so now the current is IA1, right? At the end of the duty interval, what will be the current at the end means at delta t, what will be the current IA2? So from this equation 4.7, we can write IA1 is like this and IA2 as V minus E by RA into 1 minus e power delta t by tau a plus IA1 e power minus delta t by tau a. So the both formulas for initial current and final current are same. Mostly same, but the time period is changed. Small t is changed from t to delta t. That's all. Up to now we saw for duty interval. Now freewheeling interval. So this freewheeling interval exists at the points delta t to t. So again, if you see the figure B 4.3b, if you apply KVL, you will get no voltage source. So 0 is equal to E plus LA into dA by dt plus RA into IA. So make it as 9th equation. Okay. And I am taking for simplicity T dash is equal to T minus delta T. And if you are substituting the values, initial and maximum values, you will get two formulas. See, at initial value, T dash is equal to 0. We are taking T dash here, dt dash. At initially, T dash is equal to 0. Sorry, at initially, at time T dash is equal to 0, the initial current is IA2. So from IA2, it will be dropping to IA1, right? So the initial current is IA2. So with this initial conditions, you have to solve this 4.9 equation. So IA is equal to minus E by RA, 1 minus e power minus t by tau a plus IA2 e power minus t dash by tau a. Okay, so if you observe these two equations in steady state, the value of IA will be at the ending will be same as at the beginning. So the value of IA for T dash is equal to 1 minus tau T will be IA1. Okay, so this should be substituted in the equation 4.10, this one. You will get, in the place of IA, you have to mark IA1, E by RA, 1 minus e power minus 1 minus delta T, capital T by tau a plus IA2 e power minus 1 minus tau into T by tau a. Okay, this is marked as 11th equation. So solving equations 8, 11 for IA1 and IA2 values. 8 means in previous slide there is. This one. So if you solve the equations 4.8 and 4.11,